Today, I'm announcing the United States is targeting the main artery of Russia's economy. We're banning all imports of Russian oil and gas and energy. That means Russian oil will no longer be acceptable at U.S. ports, and the American people will deal another powerful blow to Putin's war machine.
With the Russia-Ukraine war entering its third week, the worsening situation has the world worried. Experts say that India is among the emerging economies worst affected by this crisis, as a surge in global prices of commodities is set to upend spending plans. And with US banning Russian crude oil and imposing other economic sanctions, here are some things to look at. Fast rising prices of crude oil in the global market has reached an unprecedented level. India's crude import bill has risen significantly from around $80 per barrel in November 2021 to over $100 per barrel. Experts from all around the country are saying this will be an extremely difficult situation for India, as our country imports more than 85% of its oil from countries abroad. And with US banning Russian oil along with other sanctions, Moscow has warned that the crude oil price may hit $300 per barrel in the coming future. So what's the reason for this hike in prices across the world, and why prices fluctuate?
It's important to understand that when there is a war, and that war concerns one of the largest economies in the world and a large oil producing nation like Russia, there is going to be a tremendous amount of uncertainty on the supply of oil. See, prices fluctuate not just because there is a high demand or because there is low supply, but prices fluctuate because expectations are negative. Right now, people think that this war is going to go on for quite some time. And because it will go on for quite some time, the supply of oil will get disrupted. And if 1/10 of the oil supply in the world is going to get affected, then the rest of the oil supply is also going to result in high prices. That's why you will find that even if Russia contributes only 8% of petrol supply, it makes a big difference in terms of oil prices across the world. So therefore, we should all be prepared for oil prices going up.
Now, not just the crude oil, price of edible oil is also shooting up. Ukraine, Russia are not just the biggest supplier of wheat, corn and barley, but also one of the major suppliers of sunflower oil. 80% of the world's sunflower oil is produced there. Now, needless to say that the war situation has posed serious crisis in the department. According to reports, the prices have gone up by 25 to 30% since the war began. This will further create a huge void in India's edible oil supplies. Because when we talk about Indian kitchen, sunflower oil is the most commonly used edible oil. Now, did you know that India imports nearly 2.5 million tons sunflower oil, of which 70% comes from Ukraine and 20% comes from Russia and the other countries? So the most important question is, what's at stake for a common man in India?
See, ever since the war started, you would have all seen that oil prices have been shooting up. Now, it's not just one kind of crude oil that you use in making petroleum and diesel. The other oil is also getting very expensive, which is edible oil. Ukraine and Russia together produce nearly 80% of the world's sunflower oil. And therefore, those of you who use sunflower oil have found that prices have gone up by more than 50 rupees over the last week or so. This is what happens during a war. What happens is that as the war goes on, customers get very, very worried. Some of us stop buying. Some of us start buying rapidly. Some of us overbuy because we want to store things just in case there is a problem later on. And therefore, the entire supply chain gets ruptured.